38岁前几天，有人给我介绍个对象，我去看了，然后吃饭的时候，我跟他提出了这5个要求，他直接给我给拒了。
I am 38 years old this year, and a few days ago, someone introduced a man to me. I went on a blind date with him. During the meal, I directly raised some of my marriage requirements, and he immediately rejected me. Afterward, he told the matchmaker that my requirements were too high, and the matchmaker also agreed that my requirements were too high. But to me, these requirements are not high at all. I think they are just some basic protections for a woman's marital life. So today, I want to discuss with everyone whether these conditions are too excessive. First, my first requirement is a bride price of 300,000 yuan. Secondly, after marriage, my husband must not come home later than 10 p.m. If he is late more than 5 times, I will request a peaceful separation, and the bride price will not be refunded. My second requirement is that if he cheats after marriage and finds another woman, we should also separate peacefully, with the bride price not refunded, and he should pay me 100,000 yuan for emotional damages. These requirements aren't excessive, right? Loyalty in marriage should be the most basic thing. The third requirement is, if his mother falls ill and asks me to take care of her, that's not possible, as I have no such obligation. After all, they are your parents, and it's your duty to take care of them when they are sick. I only have an obligation to care for my own parents' health. If you insist that I take care of your parents in the hospital, I think we're not compatible, and we can peacefully separate, with the bride price not refunded. The fourth requirement is that his salary must be handed over to me, and he is only allowed to keep 1,000 yuan a month as pocket money. If he refuses to hand it over, our marriage cannot continue, and we will still peacefully separate, with the bride price not refunded. The last requirement is that because I don't like socializing or attending various gatherings, if sometimes I don't want to meet his relatives or friends, he cannot force me to go. If he insists on forcing me, we can only peacefully separate, with the bride price still not refunded. Overall, these conditions aren't high, are they? I think these requirements are entirely meant to protect women's marital lives and safeguard our rights. I have encountered many men who rejected me. Honestly, I don't think these conditions are excessive. On the contrary, they are to ensure that women have a good marital life after marriage. Moreover, I am excellent myself. I have a master's degree, an annual income of 150,000 yuan, I can manage both the living room and the kitchen, I'm also quite good-looking, with a height of 1.7 meters. I have a car, but no house. I believe the house should be bought by the man, and if we get married, my name should be added to the property deed. If a man cannot accept even these conditions, then I think he is not suitable to be my partner.
我呢，至今还单身，其实呢，也相过很多次的亲了。
I am still single to this day, and in fact, I have been on many blind dates, but none of them have been successful. The reason why I am still single is actually quite simple. My overall conditions are too excellent, and I can't find a man who is a good match for me. Moreover, I am not willing to settle, so I've remained single. I've noticed that most of the men around me are very shallow. They only care about a woman's appearance and age, completely disregarding her inner qualities. Even though I have a high education and a good background, just because I am already 39 years old, I seem to have lost the value I should have in the marriage market. They belittle me and call me a leftover woman, and this feels very unfair to me. Over the years, I've always insisted on one condition during blind dates. My bride price must be 580,000 yuan. Many people think my bride price is too high, but they have never considered how much my parents spent raising me, sending me to college and graduate school. This is like a long-term investment, and of course, there should be a return. How could I accept a losing deal? Moreover, after turning 30, matchmakers often introduce me to divorced men, some even with children. This really disgusts me. I feel that it's a form of subtle degradation. I'm the first wife, so I've always wanted to find a man who is also marrying for the first time. I don't want a divorced man or one with children. Even if he is divorced, he cannot have children. I don't want someone else's kids. I just want my own biological children.
我今年39岁了，大龄优质剩女。
I'm 39 years old, which makes me a leftover woman who is still considered to be of good quality. For quite some time now, I haven't been browsing the internet much. Instead, I've been obsessed with short dramas. Every time I come across one, I feel like I'm being brainwashed by the plot. In most of these short dramas, the female protagonist is typically portrayed as a Cinderella character, surrounded by domineering CEOs, often two of them, and their lives appear to be very happy. Watching these dramas, I can't help but imagine what it would be like to be the female lead. Although my family background is ordinary, I always imagine myself protected by two domineering CEOs. That feeling seems so wonderful. Recently, I've started to think that I, too, could have such a story. After all, I am somewhat like Cinderella. Though plain and simple, I'm not lacking in talent or beauty. Even though I was born in a rural area in Guangdong, I still feel that I am very exceptional. I don't expect to have two domineering CEOs, nor do I hope my partner will have billions of dollars. I only hope for one domineering CEO, at least someone with a net worth of millions, handsome, tall, the cool type who wears sunglasses and drives a luxury car. He should stand there like a beautiful landscape, always protecting me, afraid that I might bump into something. I wish he would cook delicious meals for me every day and make me the first thing he thinks of when he wakes up. On my birthday, I hope he always gives me a different surprise. During holidays, he could take me on trips so we can enjoy unique views and experiences. On weekends, we would walk hand in hand in the park or enjoy the breeze by the river, feeling warm inside. I'm actually a very easy-to-please person because I still carry a girl's heart inside me. Even though I'm already 39, I still feel that what I want for happiness is actually so simple.
现在我们女孩找对象的标准，想让他长得高，还想让他长得帅，想让他老老实实，还要带一点点坏，不仅仅
I am 34 years old and 1.69 meters tall. As I get older, my standards for finding a partner have become more mature. First of all, I want him to be tall and handsome. As for his personality, he should be honest, but with a bit of a bad boy edge. He should not only be wealthy but also have some power. I want him to take me traveling, but he must not annoy me. He should know how to dress well, maintain cleanliness, and be able to cook for me. Most importantly, he should have good interpersonal relationships, but he shouldn't be coming home too late every day. He can be very honest, but he shouldn't be too foolish when dealing with others. He doesn't need to be extremely bold, but he should not be afraid when facing challenges. Maybe he could have some social experience, but he shouldn't be a social type person. My ideal partner should be as handsome as Jay Cho. He should be available whenever I need him, understand my emotions, respect my thoughts, and always take my feelings into account before doing anything. My requirements for a partner are very clear. I won't consider someone who isn't good-looking, too short, or disrespectful to women. I also won't consider someone who is too greasy, too serious, or too unserious. I won't consider anyone who is addicted to games, full of negative energy, too busy to spend time with me, or too idle and not ambitious. Anyway, I'm not in a rush to find someone. With my beauty and superior conditions, I will only start dating when I find the ideal, perfect man.
我33岁了，是别人口中的大龄剩女。
I'm already 33 years old, and in the eyes of others, I might be considered a so-called leftover woman. Many people's first impression is that I have very high standards. In their view, not only must my partner meet certain criteria in terms of appearance and height, but also have a good job, a good family background, a high income, and excellent character. Yes, I admit that I have high standards, but this doesn't mean that I'm looking for a perfect person, nor does it mean that I want to use marriage to elevate my social status. I'm not the type to have unrealistic expectations of finding someone who can help me leap across social classes. In fact, what I truly hope for is to find someone who resonates with me in terms of values and worldview, someone who can understand me and be in sync with me. Sometimes, I do admit that my expectations in certain areas are high. Although I like money, I'm not materialistic, I'm very clear about that. Whenever I can't understand why I haven't met the right person yet, I feel like my values are quite correct, and I'm generally a decent person, my appearance is okay, but I just haven't been lucky enough to meet the right man. As I grow older, I find that I enjoy my time alone more and more, and I truly like this independent lifestyle. I no longer crave socializing, and over time, the opportunities to meet new people have become fewer. Perhaps I'll remain single like this, and honestly, that's just fine.
说实在话啊，我实在是无法理解有些男人的想法。
To be honest, I really can't understand some men's thinking. I am already 38 years old this year and still unmarried. It's not that I don't want to get married, but I just haven't found the right boyfriend. Last month, I met a guy through an arranged match. He is 1.75 meters tall. Both of his parents are farmers, and he works in a rural area. At that time, he told me that his monthly salary was around 5,000 yuan. To be honest, although I currently live in a city, I am originally from the countryside, so I don't have very high demands for marriage, and I'm not necessarily looking to marry into the city or find some rich, handsome guy. In fact, when we first met, we had a good conversation, and we both felt quite comfortable with each other. After the meeting, we both expressed our good feelings to the matchmaker, and I also told the matchmaker about my requirements. However, to my surprise, after the guy heard my requirements, he remained silent for a long time and didn't respond. I told the matchmaker that if he had anything to say, he could just speak directly, because after all, it's not a must for this to work out. If it happens, great. If not, that's fine too. My request for the betrothal gift was 380,000 yuan. Later, the matchmaker conveyed his response to me, and I was shocked. The guy actually asked the matchmaker if I had lost my mind. He even questioned whether I was crazy about money because of my high betrothal gift request. This made me very angry, and I felt that his reaction was completely unexpected. In fact, I have never thought that my requirements were too high. The betrothal gift of 380,000 yuan is simply my expectation and standard for marriage, but it was clear that he couldn't accept this. As a result, the arranged match failed, and it didn't work out. Then, a few days ago, my neighbor told me that with the Chinese New Year approaching, she had a relative's son who had just returned from Shenzhen. He is 2 years older than me, 40 years old, and is looking for a partner to take home for the holiday. My neighbor thought he might be a good match, and asked me if I wanted to meet him. Since the last arranged match failed, I didn't want to repeat the same situation. This time, I directly told the matchmaker my requirements in advance, and decided not to rush into meeting him blindly. My requirement is that the betrothal gift should meet my expectations, and other aspects should generally be a good fit. Although I hope this match works out, I have some doubts in my heart. I don't know if this guy will be able to accept my standards, especially regarding the betrothal gift. I'm not sure what others think. Do you have any suggestions for me?
有很多人劝我说，如果你不挑的话，你还是非常容易脱单的。
Many people have advised me that if I could lower my standards and not be so picky, I should be able to find a suitable partner easily. In reality, I don't think I'm being too picky. To be honest, I have some non-negotiable requirements for my partner, and these are essential to me. First and foremost, emotional stability is something I highly value. I want him to be calm in the face of problems, not overly emotional, and able to think rationally and solve issues effectively. The second requirement is that I hope he is relatively smart, at least able to communicate clearly and express his thoughts concisely. I don't know if anyone has read Lu Xinyan's book One Sentence is Worth 10,000. The story in the book deeply made me realize that communication is not just about speaking, but about clearly expressing one's thoughts. I want my partner to have logical reasoning and be able to express himself succinctly, rather than speaking a lot without getting to the point. In simple terms, I hope he has clear logic and precise expression skills, which is something I highly value. The third requirement is related to appearance. Since I had a problem with crooked teeth in the past, I hope he has neat teeth that make his smile look natural. I also prefer him to have a higher nose bridge, meaning his facial features should be well proportioned and comfortable to look at. This would make him more attractive to me. In addition to that, I hope my partner has a stable income. Although I am financially independent and don't rely on him to support my living expenses, I want him to be able to contribute to the costs of raising children. In the future, I don't expect him to shoulder my financial burdens, as long as he can manage his own life and not rely on others. Also, he should be able to pay off his own mortgage without expecting me to help. The most important thing is that I'm not particularly focused on his appearance or height. Instead, I care more about his inner qualities and personality. As long as he is not excessively overweight or underweight, not unattractive or giving off an unhealthy vibe, and not too short, I really don't have too many other requirements. Sometimes I do reflect on myself and realize that at 35, not being married might be considered late, so I can understand why some people think my standards for choosing a partner are too high. But for me, since I'm choosing to marry, I want to find someone with whom I can spend the rest of my life, rather than rushing into a hasty decision or settling for someone. Overall, while I do have some standards, it's not that I'm looking for a perfect person, but rather someone who is right for me.
In fact, many older single women go through life comforting themselves and fantasizing. They often believe that their Prince Charming will eventually appear. For example, a woman with a score of 80 may hope to find a man with a score of 90. The problem is, this 90-point man is also hoping to find a woman with a score of 100. Naturally, such a mismatch in expectations leads to a gap in the pairing. This misalignment of expectations traps many people in a dilemma. Some older single women, although they rationally understand this gap, are still willing to lower their standards because of inner anxiety and urgency. They are eager to change their current single status and yearn to escape from loneliness. Therefore, some of these older single women may be forced to lower their expectations for a partner, and even after realizing the harsh reality, they can only numb themselves and accept it. However, this process of self-deception doesn't actually bring them true inner satisfaction. Deep down, they know they haven't truly found the love they desire, but have only made a temporary compromise and given up. There is another group of older single women who tend to immerse themselves in their fantasy world. They also know the cruelty of reality, but they don't want to wake up. They keep deceiving themselves, and in the end, they may become numb to it. Because they are filled with fantasies, they won't say that they feel empty inside because they don't have love. They continue to immerse themselves in the world of anime. In real life, they are dissatisfied with the men around them and look down on them. They tell themselves that it's fine not to wake up, that sometimes fantasizing and longing for things is a form of emotional comfort. This state may bring them temporary relaxation and happiness, as if they've forgotten the pressures of life. As they age, their bodies change, but they remain powerless to change their situation. It's not that they haven't tried to break out of this solitary predicament. Some have even taken a step forward, but due to some differences, they couldn't continue and still find themselves in a long-term single status. Do you agree with my viewpoint? Feel free to leave your comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us, and we will continue to provide you with better content. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.